Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for watching NBC6 Voices. I am Jawan Strader. You are probably watching NBC6 Voices on our Facebook or YouTube pages, and we welcome you to the show this evening. And this evening, we are talking about Kamala Harris as a trailblazer. This week, the Electoral College made it official. Kamala Harris will be the next Vice President of the United States. Now, next month, when she's sworn in, it will be historic for many reasons. Okay, we're going to break it down for you. She will be the first woman in the history of this country to serve as vice president. She'll also be the first Black woman with Jamaican and South Asian roots to serve in that position as well. And as a proud graduate of Howard University, Harris is also the first vice president to graduate from a historically Black college and the first member of a Black sorority. So many firsts. So little time. Let's talk about as many as we can. So please welcome to the show this evening, Dr. Japhus Hardrick. He is the president of Florida Memorial University. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jawan. It's my honor to be here.
You got it. South Florida's only HBCU. Also, we're going to welcome to the show Bernie. She's a real estate agent who specializes in matching her clients to Miami's chic spaces. And like Kamala Harris, she's a member of Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I want to make sure I say incorporated. I don't want to mess that up being a member of Kappa Alpha side myself. And you know what? Let's go ahead and let's get this started because there's so much to get to, so much we want to talk about. And let's start the question off with you, President Hardrick. What does Kamala Harris being our next vice president mean to you?
Jawan, I think what this says to all of us in this country is that change is inevitable, and that she is serving as someone that we can emulate, and so many others who are coming after her. She basically is one who is saying to us that whatever you desire, whatever you dream, you can accomplish it. It's just that we must be prepared and put ourselves in a position so that when those opportunities avail themselves, you can walk through those doors. And that not only that, but whatever God has for you, it's going to be for you. And there's nothing anyone can do to stop you from being successful. So I am so honored to have met her early on in this process and looking forward to working with her in this new administration. I'm ecstatic about her appointment.
And Bernie, I want to ask you the same question. What does this mean to you?
So, Jawan, I'm actually going to echo what you said because you just can't get enough of hearing that list of many firsts. So Kamala being our next vice president represents just so many things. Being a member of the first African-American sorority, Kappa Alpha, of Jamaican heritage, which is going to shine a light on all Caribbeans, of Indian descent, an HBCU graduate, which actually raises the visibility and achievability of a Black college education and its experience. And lastly, it just ceiling shatters the role of women in the White House.
Oh, it really does. And, you know, I spoke with Congresswoman Frederica Wilson a little bit earlier, and she added to this conversation. Here's what she said about her thoughts.
She is my colleague in Congress. She is someone who I know intimately and who I love. And I could always tell that she was going to be president. I thought when I endorsed her that she was going to be president of the United States. And I still feel that she will be president of the United States.
And that is the Congresswoman. I always love talking to her. She's going to add more to this conversation. But Dr. Hardrick, I want to ask you this. Does Kamala Harris validate HBCUs?
Most definitely, Jawan. And I think she is an awesome testimony to the fact that you can't just relegate us to a small window. HBCUs are producing some of the top leaders globally. And I think she epitomizes this in her role now as the newly elected vice president of the United States of America. It just goes to show that our historically Black universities do a phenomenal job with so little to bring out the best in every person that walks through our doors. And that's the thing that I'm so excited about here at Florida Memorial, because that's what we do. You walk in one way, and when you leave us, we make sure that you're prepared to conquer the world.
And you know, Congresswoman Frederica Wilson is also an HBCU grad. So here's what she had to say about this topic.
But I remember that Mr. Clyburn told me one day, he said, you know what, Frederica? What people don't understand is when you attend an HBCU and you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a teacher, you have to pass the same test that the children at Yale pass, that the children at Harvard pass. It's the same test. So if you can pass it coming out of an HBCU, why would they try to diminish them? So I think now that we have a vice president who graduated from an HBCU, they will never diminish an HBCU again.
You heard it right there. So, Dr. Hardrick, how does it make you feel when you hear the Congresswoman say that?
It's awesome, because Congresswoman is absolutely right. And Jawan, I am also a graduate of a historical Black university. I'm the first in my family to go to college as well. So I know what it's like, because we literally do prepare students when they graduate from this university. We make sure they have all the critical skills that are necessary that will help them compete with anyone, regardless of the Ivy League school, regardless of the institution that they matriculate from. Our universities definitely make sure we have our students who are ready to compete in a global marketplace. And she epitomizes this. She's a true testament of what is produced out of our historical Black universities.
And Bernie, I want to bring you now back into the conversation. I want to ask you, what does it mean? You kind of touched on it a little bit, but I want to go a little bit more into this conversation about shattering the glass ceiling and what this means to you, being a woman of Jamaican roots, to see Kamala Harris shatter that glass ceiling in politics.
Absolutely. So I think what it does symbolically is that it starts to shift the narrative of the contributions that people of Caribbean descent have made, so that it will have more dimension in the broader context of American culture. So specifically Jamaica, it's a brand in and of itself. As a matter of fact, it's a global one, but it tends to be still viewed as an import, so to speak, and be very much skewed towards entertainment. And the fact is that the culture is so much more than that. What we contribute to society globally is so much more than dance hall or reggae music, art, and food. What you have is people that are now second, third, and even fourth generation that are participating in and leaders in terms of being productive citizens in many fields, from healthcare to government to education, design, architecture, real estate, and more. As I indicated before, this is only going to shine a light also on all Caribbeans. And we see that with the start actually of Haitian American Karine Jean-Pierre being the White House Deputy Press Secretary.
That's right. And that's so very true. We're seeing a lot of firsts with this administration already. So I want to ask you, Bernie, what kind of insight will Harris have in Washington that is different from her predecessors, do you believe?
Oh, I think there so many to name. I think specifically one of them that's very interesting that she's bringing is the first ever second husband. And what she is symbolizing in terms of relationships. You know, I myself And I'm an older woman that's not yet married, and it's something I'm very happy with. Life is evolving, and women no longer have to be relegated to certain roles. We owe it to our families, and we owe it to ourselves as far as the personal sacrifices that we've made to ensure that we are fulfilled. And it can take time to get to know yourself and then also meet someone else at the right point in their maturation process. So aside from the aloneness that it takes to get to know, like I said, yourself, it's also the experiences that can help validate and clarify what it is that you want. Like relationships take communication, they take openness, they take honesty, and they also take prioritization. So I really love within this respect that she is normalizing support of women who are ambitious, bonus parenting, and exercising patience for the right one.
Amen. Amen to that. And that is so true. And before we go to break, let's talk for a minute about what Kamala Harris represents to a generation of young women. It's a topic that got a passionate response from Congresswoman Wilson. Let's listen to this.
I think that little girls all over the world will look at Kamala Harris with a wide gaze and a big smile. And I think they will, after looking at her, they will look in the mirror and they will say, I can be just like her. So they have a new role model that they can follow, they can look up to, and they can aspire to be. And that is so wonderful for the world, where women have had to carry the load of this nation, especially Black women. We carry the burdens of our community on our shoulders. So for Black little girls, Black young girls, Black young women, Black old women, Black women, period, across the world, to now have in place the first Black Vice President of the United States, while we have our chest stuck out and we're marching in the street and we have our noses in the air because we are now snobs and we know we found our place.
Go
okay,
ahead.
sorry, Frederica, we hear you.
Oh, I tell you. So Bernie, and Dr. Hardrick, I want to ask you the same question, but Bernie, I want to start off with you first. So what do you think Kamala represents to young women, especially young Black women?
Everything that has been stated so far. I think the biggest thing that she represents is choice in all caps, that you can be whatever it is that you want to be. And you can do that in a path that's of your own choosing. So far we were always told that if you want to do this, you have to do that, or you have to be this or be with that. That's now changed. What you're seeing is creation. What you are seeing is someone who is a case study example and truly believing in self and giving it time and being tenacious and perseverant. And at the same time, never compromising her womanhood along the way.
Amen. You got that right. Dr. Hardrick, your thoughts?
Joanne, I have to concur with my sorority sisters. Big brother of Black and old gold, man. I can't let that go. And I think both of these ladies have articulated it so nicely that it really says to, again, so many young people, and particularly young ladies, young Black ladies, or from the African diaspora, that you can be whatever you dream of becoming. And you should never allow anyone to put limitations on you, because no one can dictate and determine your future but you. And I think, again, Kamala Harris is a living testimony that we can do exactly that. And what I love about her is that she is so personable. I met her when she was a senator, and I'm telling you, she's the same person, loving personality, and really wants the best for all of us in this country, even those who didn't even vote for her. She really does want the best. But I tell you, it should really inspire our young Black females in this country. Just dream big, and go after your dreams, and make sure you're bringing the right people in your life who can help you accomplish those dreams.
Okay, we're going to pause for a quick second, take a quick break, and then we're going to begin our second segment. Very well said. Very well said.
Oh, thank you.
So, Joanne, I'm surrounded by these AKAs, man. I mean,
And I'm a former Miss Black and Gold. I was Miss Black and Gold for University of Florida, Tenacious Terror of the South, Theta Sigma, and I was Miss Black and Gold for the Florida Federation of Alpha Chapters. So
Oh, wow.
I love
Oh, my.
colors. Yeah.
Okay. Way to go. Okay. Well, we'll
I
talk
had
a little
to
bit
drop
more.
the word tenacity for them.
There you go. There you go. Okay. Well, Elizabeth Burns is joining us now. Elizabeth, can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. I've been having technical difficulties.
It's
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you for having me on your program.
Absolutely. Now, can you turn your camera horizontal, your camera phone, or whatever you're using? Can
I'm
you
using
turn
the
it?
camera phone, but it's giving me a problem.
Yeah, because we can see you well. We can see you good. Actually, you look really good.
Can you hear me?
But if you could turn
Can you
it
see me?
horizontal, I think we'll be able to get you.
If I can turn it where?
So turn your phone this way, horizontal, so we can see you in the full screen instead of vertical. There you go.
Oh,
There you go. That's it.
see, I'm not tech inclined, okay?
It's all good. You look good. Okay, that's great. Now you're able to prop it up on
As long
something.
as I look good. See?
Yeah, you look good. You look good.
Okay, there you go.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna let you play with that. We're gonna go ahead and continue our conversation while you're playing with that right now. And just so you know, I want to welcome everyone right back to our second segment as we continue to talk about VP-elect Kamala Harris, her as a trailblazer and what she means to young women of color and young women everywhere around the country and the world. And we appreciate your comments. If you want to join the conversation, please do so here on Voices. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think. Join the conversation. Also, if you have any questions you want to ask, please be sure to throw those questions. We'll try to get those questions in. So I want to welcome now to our show, I want to welcome Elizabeth Burns. She produces 2 annual community events in recognition of National Caribbean American Heritage Month. And earlier this year, she also ran for Pembroke Pines City Commissioner as well. I want to welcome her to the show. She's having some technical difficulties. She is working on the camera right now. So please bear with Elizabeth. So Elizabeth, first off, how are you doing? You good?
I am great. Despite COVID, I have to stay home and do what a wife does, Not no events coming on. So, but it's all good. Everyone is safe and we're happy.
Well, very good. I want to ask you your thoughts on history making VP-elect Kamala Harris, our vice president, soon to be officially here in January. I want to ask your thoughts on when she won and what it meant to you.
Okay. I am very proud of Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. She is a Jamaican. She's Indian. So am I. I'm Indian. I'm Jamaican. And above all that, she's a female. And never, ever has it happened before that in the country that
right.
we have the second highest person in this United States of America to be a female. And that means a lot more to me than having her as a Jamaican or Indian, because she speaks for all of us. Okay? She also has the capability of being a president. Who would ever think in our history, in our lifetime, that we would ever see that coming to fruition? I am very proud of her. It's an exhilarating feeling. When I look at her, my heart melts, because it could be one of us. It could be any little girl out there hoping for a future in that arena. So, yes, I am proud of her. I think she is going to make a fantastic vice president. And I'll do whatever I can. I actually campaigned for the Biden team. And I'll do whatever I can in my power to support the effort.
And Elizabeth, I want to ask you, because I know how my wife feels and how I saw her brought to tears being Jamaican Indian when Kamala Harris won. And I want to ask you what this means to the Caribbean community as well.
I can hear you.
That you've spoken to. Have you spoken to people in the Caribbean community, and what
yes.
this may mean, and what this means to those that you've spoken to, as well as yourself?
You know what? Tears came to my eyes, because I know what she has been through. I know she is deserving of it. I know she is well educated, all of the above. On top of that, she is a female that we always wanted in the office, in the beautiful home of the people. And bottom line is, it is very heartwarming to see a female in office. I believe she is a perfect person to support the president, Joe Biden, and I will do whatever I can to support the effort. I have spoken to many people in the Caribbean community. In fact, while I was running for office, I spoke to many persons about voting for the group. In fact, if you look on my Facebook, I had all the flyers and posters supporting them. So yes, I was there with them all the way. And my camera isn't working, I don't think.
No, we still see you, Elizabeth.
Okay.
I know you have some technical difficulties, but we can also see your finger as well. So we need you to move that finger out the way when we look at you next time. I'm going to bring in our next guest while we try to figure out your technical issues there, Elizabeth. There you go. I don't see that finger anymore. It's all good. But you're hearing Elizabeth, Dr. Hardrick, you're hearing from Elizabeth, and Bernie, you're hearing from Elizabeth. You're hearing her talk about what this means, especially in the Caribbean community. We've talked about HBCUs. We've talked about the fact that, being a woman of color, but hearing about the Caribbean community as well, because we know that, especially at HBCUs, Florida Memorial University, you have a definitely a diverse campus. So what are you hearing, Dr. Hardrick?
Jawan, I tell you, our students are elated about this victory. And yes, Florida Memorial, we have students throughout the Caribbean here, and in many parts of the world, even Japan, Africa, you name it. This decision and seeing her in this role has really energized so many of our young people. And one of the things that Jawan, is that I've always been a promoter of our students learning to be taking care of civic responsibility, and they were very active in this campaign, and as well as this year's election. And so when our students started seeing this, man, let me tell you, it just made them so excited, and it just let them know and inspired them that they can be whomever they want to be.
Amen. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and get to this next question, which I know Bernie's going to like this next question here, because when we're talking about history being made, Kamala Harris is only the second Black woman in American history elected to the U.S. Senate. And here's more of what her congressional colleague Frederica Wilson had to say about having someone who is a member of the Black Greek system, otherwise known as the Divine Nine, as the next vice president. Here's what she had to say. And Bernie, we're going to get to you.
That is so special for not only Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, but for all sororities, all Black fraternities, because a lot of people didn't even know they existed. And the ones who are not within the circle thought they were just like Tea Party ladies or people who just sit around and maybe do nothing. Now they found out that all of these members of the Divine Nine stand for scholarship and service to all mankind. And they are just phenomenal in the activities and giving back to the community and philanthropy that they're involved in our communities. And they're really the backbone of our Black communities. And so the Divine Nine now has a new voice and a new vision and a new face in the communities at large who never even knew that they exist.
All right. So, Bernie, I want to ask you this next question because you're a member of AKA. So what do you believe that this does to the Black Greek system, having VP-elect Kamala Harris in the White House?
Yes, so I'm just so happy to pick up after my sorority sister, Frederica. So, starting from the perspective of Alpha Kappa Alpha, public awareness has definitely magnified. I know myself and many of my sorority sisters that I'm closer to. This has been a time to be even more proud than we typically are in terms of not only messaging on social media, but in the chat groups that we're in, we're always talking about the fact that, for those times when you're in public, people are noticing and acknowledging when they see us in our signature pink and green paraphernalia. But as you indicated, this is definitely a halo effect for all Black Greek letter organizations, both sororities and fraternities, which are affectionately known as the Divine Nine, abbreviated D9. All the organizations have a long-standing community service history of committing to mobilization for racial equality, as well as get out the vote. So it has just been absolutely beautiful to see how we've all pulled together. My fraternity brother, Dr. Hardrick, he alluded to what's going on with undergrads, but as someone who is post-grad and a professional, we have been absolutely just as hyped. It's re-energized us. And what's really great is D9 is on its flex. There are many different levels, as a matter of fact. There are discussions being had about forming political action committees. And then even here on a more, regional state level in the state of Florida, there is exploration of specialty license plates. So you're about to see these Greek letters, on and popping for quite some time to come. And, this is the pink rain.
Maybe Dr. Hardrick, I think you want to add to that.
Hey, well, listen, I can tell you this, that her being in this role certainly has energized the Divine Nine. And I think for me, again, President-elect Harris being in this role is tantamount and will be very similar to what Tiger Woods was for golf, right? They just revolutionized the game, and so that's what she's done, is literally inspired so many, Jawan, and I'm excited. I'm excited for her, and again, looking forward for what she is going to do to really begin to help us as an institution and help our historical Black universities, because she's been there. She knows what it's like, and she knows what our institutions have gone through and continue to go through in terms of fighting for, again, economic equality. And so I'm looking forward to her being a voice, being an advocate to really begin to help us champion all the right causes to produce more Black graduates, scientists, doctors, lawyers, judges, you name it, entrepreneurs. I'm looking forward to her and this administration really coming in, making a difference, because when she visited us, it was her first time out on the trail, and she promised me that they were going to take the necessary actions and have the right strategies in place to begin to transform historical Black universities.
I love it. And along those lines, because you did speak about the administration, and I want to ask you, Elizabeth, and this is going to be my last question here tonight, Elizabeth, and we're going to end it with you. But I want to ask you, Elizabeth, what are you expecting and what's most important to you when it comes to a Biden-Harris administration?
Well, first of all, I'm super proud of her. I'm so happy that President-elect Joe Biden, he chose her. That was a moment in history that we cannot recreate. It's the first time in history. And I believe that she will rally the base. She's going to do a marvelous job. She's already starting to do that, having been chosen. There are a number of Black congressional people and senators, and I'm sure some of those folks are going to be placed in a higher position than they would have normally been. In addition to that, I believe that she will support the president to his fullest. I believe she will bring diversity and culture to the administration, and I'm pretty sure that she's going to take on some roles with the immigration. And most importantly, I would like to see those kids get out and be with their parents. They've been locked away for too long. And I believe that this is an opportunity to get, I think it's 500 children. That is very sad. I am hoping that they will get on the ball and take care of those children, try to find the parents, connecting them together. And yes, and of course the pandemic is on us, and I believe that with the efficient task at hand to eradicate the pandemic and give us a healthier, happy country, that would be a plus in that direction.
All right, Elizabeth Burns, thank you so much. And I'm so sorry, but we've run out of time. So guys, you guys have all provided great insight and great energy to this conversation on VP-elect Kamala Harris. And soon she won't be VP-elect. She will be our vice president. So I really appreciate the conversation. Dr. Hardrick, thank you so much. Elizabeth, thank you. And Bernie, thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. And everyone out there who joined our conversation, thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think. Please go to Jawan NBC6. Follow me on Instagram and also on Facebook. Let me know what you thought about the show. I would love to hear from you. And remember, education is the key to success. If you believe, you will succeed. Have a great night.